All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Let's Talk Rockets, episode number 40. It is Thursday, July 20th, man. The weekend is tomorrow. A lot of good movies out. That's really all I had for a preview. Guys, today, as you can tell from the title, we're predicting the Rockets win total. It is the end of July, which means basketball season's pretty much done as far as live basketball goes. It's about to get super niched, as we all are aware of this time period. And if you like Houston Rockets content, you've come to the right place because we're going to get pretty niche this summer and early fall. So, I think it's a little less than 3 months till the next live basketball. Houston Rockets unfortunately lost in the championship game of the Summer League, but it is what it is, right? It is what it is. So, let's pull up Vegas's win total. But actually, before we do, as always, Let's Talk Rockets is available on streaming platforms. The link are always in the description of videos and streams. So check that out or type in Let's Talk Rockets on Spotify and Apple. Appreciate you guys. We're well over 100 listens in total now, so appreciate that. What's up to my man Jalen Johnson? We're entering a dead period, bro. Big time. It's big time dead period. So let's look up the NBA Vegas win totals for this upcoming season. I believe the Rockets were 32.5. But I do want to just get one quick check on that. And we're going to talk about it. So if you're watching this live, go ahead and throw down in the chat, how many wins do you think the Houston Rockets will finish with this upcoming season? Of course, it is all so difficult to find because it's all like sports books, but the Rockets were 31.5. All right. Obviously, this isn't financial advice. To me, I'm taking the over on that 31.5. What's up, Thomas? What's up, Matt? Hope you guys are doing good. 36 wins is Thomas's guess. And then we got Matt, 32.5 question mark. I'm smashing the over. I'd smash the over on that too, man. If you guys watch the NBA show, you guys know the only basketball bet I've ever done was the Kings to win the NBA Finals in the last week of January. That almost worked. Of course, Golden State was a thing, so that's that. But I would hammer it. I would hammer it. Freddie and Udoka, strong combo. Jalen Johnson says, I can see us winning 34-35, especially if Jalen, Jabari, and Sengun take a massive jump this year. So I think we've talked a bunch about potential breakouts and stars. I think we'll probably do the next podcast or the next live stream talking about that. Like I said, I know we've briefed on it, but we're going to go through all the players a little bit later on. 35 wins this year, says Focus Active. What's up, Al Comedy? Hope you're doing good. I'm going to be optimistic and say 40. So I think realistically, for me, if you guys know, we got JK Meme saying 42. If you guys been listening to these or watching my videos, all summer I've been saying, for me, the Houston Rockets, the one thing I want to see this upcoming season is who is our franchise player. I want to know who our franchise player is, if he's on our current roster, and I want to build around him. Now, depending on the player, there's a bunch of different hypotheticals get into. Well, if it's Jalen, if it's Jabari, if it's Sengun, if it's Amin, there's a bunch of things that would follow that. But I want to be competitive. I want to be competitive. I feel like that goes without saying. So I want to compete for the play. That is what I'm looking for. If we're going analytical, what are my goals? What are my hopes for the Rockets this upcoming season? I want to be in the playoff hunt. And I see really no reason why we won't. I think we have a really, really talented roster, and I think we have a really good bench. And I'll just pull up our starting projections here. We got this classic tweet from Perdot, but I love our bench, man. I love it so much. Amin Thompson, Kevin Porter Jr., Jayshawn Tater, Cam Whitmore, Tari Eason, Jacques Landale. You have Aaron Holiday as well. I really like this bench. The bench has been something ever since I started covering the Rockets once they traded away James Harden, was the bench has just been a shit show. I mean, it took us a while to kind of lock in a starting unit. Harden kind of left us to dry, but the bench has always been, there's always just something with the bench, man. Like I mean, the Daishen Nix thing, like is Daishen Nix really our starting or our backup point guard? Like, is that really who it's going to be? And you try and tell yourself, I'm remembering guys like Justin Patton, Mason Jones. I'm remembering all these old Rocket players in the last couple of years that have helped fill out our bench. And it's like, you know what? That's maybe we got something here, right? And it's just kind of just it's like optimistic delusion. I can't think of a better word for it, but yeah. All right, JK Meme says, I think we have multiple franchise player. Jalen, I think we can compete for a play-in spot. Sengun, Jabari, and I think Whitmore can be, but obviously it's way too early to add him in there. Yeah, Cam Whitmore being a franchise guy, I guess he has the athletic potential, no doubt. I guess there's a potential for all of them to be franchise players. That was really what turned me away, that turned me off from drafting Cam Whitmore at pick number 4 pre-draft was I don't think he'll be a franchise player. And I just didn't see him. I don't see him having as high of a boom or bust as a guy like Amin Thompson. But we took him at 20. So he doesn't even need to really be a star player. When you get drafted in the first round, pick 20, you can solid role player. Jeff Green. Thank you, Matt. How can I forget about Uncle Jeff? All right, Crom's going. Our Thunder fan is going 30 to 40 wins. Okay. I'm glad we kept Tate. I do agree. I was very big of an advocate for going with KJ over Tate. Or honestly keeping both of them. But yeah, Jayshawn Tate's contract is money. If this Rockets team is in contention next season, if we are literally anywhere around 500, Jayshawn Tate is like, he's going to be an important part of it, which might sound crazy, but Jayshawn Tate can hoop, man. He's a good two-way player, and he's going to play with his heart on his sleeve every night. He's going to leave it all out there on the court. I don't want to talk about Knicks anymore. Ruminant, Illinois, going in. An organic super team in the making. I think so. I really think so. I always say it. And people say, this is like an old timers quote, but it goes, it's true. That's the reason why it's still saying you improve through the draft, man. You build and improve a team through the draft. That's exactly what Raphael Stone's done. And now we filled it out with some veterans now that we're ready to win. It sounds so simple, but there's a lot that goes into drafting these players outside of just pure talent. Obviously, you can see all this talent, but take the Rockets this last year, for example, when you're picking at 4 and this is like huge in like NFL for quarterbacks, especially, if I'm drafting Amin Thompson, I'm thinking this guy's going to be a star here. You want the player, who he is as a player, like as a person, not as a player, is so important when orchestrating and drafting a team like these GMs, like smart GMs like Raphael Stone. Like, that is a really big freaking deal. That's why I'm so glad that the Rockets steered away from James Harden, man. I love James Harden. Love him. Hope he gets a ring. I hope he continues to ball his ass off. But as far as the culture and the identity we're trying to form, and that's already here with Ime coming into town, like, I just don't have time for shenanigans. I don't have the patience for that. That's not what I'm trying to build here. That's not what the Rockets are trying to build here. Hate to use Harden as an example, but like, Amin Thompson is, as a person, everything we've seen, everything we've heard from him, that's the type of player you bank on, or that you draft and you'll take the chance on. I don't even remember why I got on that rant here, but that's exactly why you wouldn't sign Bol Bol. Yeah. And I'm so glad we didn't sign Bol Bol. And I'm really glad the Phoenix Suns signed Bol Bol because I think that's his best route for staying in the NBA is going to a championship caliber team and having a valuable role on that team and accepting your role position, your position and your role, and just trying to put together a good season. The stats don't need to be crazy, man. Look at like Bruce Brown. Look at any of these guys who win a championship and then they get a nice contract afterwards. You want winning players. So I'm so glad the Rockets stayed away from Bol Bol. We can make a move. Always keep that in mind. The Rockets could certainly take a big time name at any point from here on out. They could definitely snag a Joel Embiid or a Karl Anthony Towns or a Jaylen Brown, or whoever the next disgruntled superstar is. The Rockets certainly have the assets. The issue is it's mainly now. I'm not even as interested in that, especially after this past offseason, because I really like our team. And I think on our young core, our drafted core, I think that dude is in the mix. And I'd rather take that route and then, fill it with guys like Fred and Dylan Brooks, et cetera, than go out there and give an arm and a leg for fucking Goofy Gobert. Tate did not play half the season last year. They were in full-on tank mode, second half of the season especially, and he was honestly kind of felt like all year Jay Sean was dealing with some nagging injuries or some issues or whatever came up. So, let these young guys run. But you're 100% right as far as just kind of forgot about Jay Sean towards the end of the season and kind of forgot about what he provides for the Rockets. Just because we didn't see him much last year. Set the culture in the rebuild. That's what my Thunder are doing. Whitmore reminds me of Kawhi Leonard as far as personality. Yeah, very quiet kid. Shift to a new era. I poured the nicest scotch. Gonna enjoy with a little cigar on the back deck overlooking the St. John River. Nice, dude. What a beautiful Canadian night that is. My buddy just texted me if I want to see Oppenheimer this weekend. I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Between you and me, I was going to go see Barbie first. My birthday's in next Wednesday, so I was going to see them both. But I think I'm going to see Barbie on my birthday. Fuck it, dude. I'm excited. Really excited. Opinions from Al Kambi for our audio listeners. Opinions on domination if Sengun somehow doesn't work out. Good news is I don't think we'll be in that situation, but I love domination. I think he is a dog, and it goes back to what we were just talking about, man. All the reports we've been hearing with domination and Monty Williams. If you guys listen to the NBA show, I'm very much not a Suns fan because I'm not a fan of Chris Paul. I know he's a former Rocket. I think he's a motherfucker. I think Chris Paul's a motherfucker in a good way. Certainly respect the hell out of his game, and we'll miss him when he's gone. Now that he's no longer a Phoenix Sun, dude, I'm all aboard the CP3 train, but his tenure in Phoenix, I like to call him CP0 with Monty shit Williams. Monty Williams reminds me of to me, he's like a successful Steven Silas. If Harden didn't leave, I think that it would be similar. My point is, domination and Steven Silas butt heads. All they did was butt heads. That's all they did was just butt heads. And we saw so much last year in Ayton's, the way he, lack of effort or, whimsical, just being lackadaisical out there, whatever it was. I think DeAndre Ayton is going to thrive on the Phoenix Suns for a long time with these stars on the team. If Sengun does not work out for some reason, might I add, I would love domination. And I would take him actually any day of the week of the entire year. Actually, any day of any week of any year ever over Karl Anthony Towns, and honestly probably Joel Embiid just because of price and all that stuff. So I would love domination, but. Going back to it, just player chemistry, coach chemistry with the players. Like I think all these small little details are an extremely big deal. And if you're starting center and your head coach don't like each other, that season's not going to work out. Just give it time. There will be at least 5 disgruntled players in the league. Happens year in, year out, 100%. I think Anthony Edwards eventually will request a trade. I think we're probably a year away from that at least. I think Joel Embiid will definitely request a trade at some point, and that'll probably is also a year away. But yeah, man, and stars are born every year in the league, so I'm not too worried about outside noise, outside free agents. Who knows? And these are good. These are great problems to have, man. Like, imagine 3 years from now, we have our core player together. We got our core stars. Somebody, Sengun turns into a superstar or something like that, and we're a 50-win team, and maybe then you take a trade for we're like 3 years into this process, and a couple 50 straight back-to-back 50-win seasons. Maybe then you make a big ass move to go out there and get a superstar to get your team to that next level. But we don't have to worry about this yet. Thank you, Jalen. Is James Harden's birthday actually on Wednesday? I don't think James Harden and I have the same birthday. Oh no, it's August. He turned. Karam is. I double check it wasn't August. Fuck, dude. His birthday is August 26th. Yeah, I don't think I share. I'll do this off camera. I think his birthday July 26th, but there's just nobody. Zero hand. Betty White. Whatever. All right. Sengun should stay down the line. He can blossom into something really special. So, sneak preview for our next stream when I talk about franchise players, Sengun is going to be number 2 on that list. And if you guys have been watching these, my number 1 is Mr. Amen Thompson. But I think Sengun he's a superstar. I think he's at least a star. I think he's going to be a superstar, but I think he's at least a star. And he's a fucking stud, dude. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah. And here's the thing with Sengun. People don't watch Rocket games, right? Outside of Rockets fans, people don't watch Rocket games. And there's nothing, especially like not having League Pass. Like if I'm illegally streaming, what am I, fucking cop? If you're streaming a basketball game using like StreamEast or whatever, like, and you're just a casual NBA fan, like, I'm not putting on the fucking Rockets. Like, if you're a casual fan, you're not putting on the Houston Rockets at any point last season. So it makes sense. Not too many people are aware of Alperen Sengun. So what happens, and this happened with my buddy who's a Lakers fan, play Lakers a couple times a year, always get a text, dude, Penguin, man. Like, wow, Penguin, Jabari, whatever it is. So these fans of these other teams, you play the Rockets, and Sengun does his thing, and it's like, oh, fuck, dude, who's this guy? Who's Sengun? This guy looks really good. And I think you could say that actually with a lot of Rockets players, but specifically Sengun, just because what he's statistically as a big man at his age, what he's done, some of his allocates or accolades are impressive. It's a very impressive young resume. So I think Sengun, man, I'm so excited for Sengun. And by the way, when Steven Silas went to the Detroit Pistons, Monty Williams and Steven Silas, I fucking love it so much, especially on that young Pistons team, man. I love it. I absolutely love it. That's like the dream duo right there. That's the deadly duo, Silas and Monty. I've been watching a lot of Celtics. I've been watching so much Celtics from that 2021 season where they made the NBA Finals, and Ime is that he's so good. What do I expect from Ime? I expect us to be a non-embarrassment. I expect respect around the league, and that's not even like an Ime thing, but he's going to get these guys ready. We're going to be prepared. I remember it so clear as day, man. We played the Golden State Warriors. We were like a couple months into the season. We were like probably a quarter of the way through the season. I'm watching this Warriors game, and it was the game. It was it the first time we played the Warriors last year, and it was a good game, man. It was like a competitive game. The Rockets might have even won it. I remember watching that game and just being like, I don't think the players know what to do. Like there were just so many bad possessions or miscommunications where it's like, is that a miscommunication? Is that poor communication, or is there just no communication? Like I watched that game and I was like, these guys have no fucking idea what they need to be doing. That's not going to be a thing next year with Ime. And that's why I loved Big Perk. I'm not a huge Kendrick Perkins. Like as a player, I think he was, kind of cool. He was cool as a commentator or whatever. I really liked the advice he gave Cam Whitmore going to Ime's office and ask what he expects of you in the first year. And, these guys are going to know their roles next year. And I'm very excited. And just Ime's like the perfect guy for the job, man. We on the NBA show, every freaking coach firing, it's like, go hire Ime Udoka. Somebody gets fired. Hire Ime Udoka. Any team, any 29 teams in the league, go hire Ime fucking Udoka. We won the offseason with the Ime Udoka hire, man. He's so good at what he does. We might have multiple superstars on the roster right now in 5 years. All these MFs saying we lost free agency are propagandists. Lost free agency. That has to be because of it seems like mainstream NBA media fan or NBA fans are like, understand now the Fred move. It's an overpay, whatever. But all right, Fred on the Rockets, that's a good fit. Dylan Brooks, $40 million, 4 years, Dylan Brooks. What the hell are you guys doing? So those Op and Barbie tickets are hard to come by unless you want to get a ticket for next week. Oh, shit. I didn't know that. Yeah, exactly. It's like the Spurs last year. I watched a decent amount of the Spurs, but the Rockets play them a lot. It's kind of a team I have on. Pacers are always a team on League Pass that I have. Pacers and Pistons because they start at like 6 or 7 o'clock here. I've never declared a team in the West, but I've always liked the Rockets. And making it official today, let's go. New Rocket convert from Raptor Nation. Supporting the R's. Supporting the R words. Let's go. Welcome, Thomas. I kind of want to just go watch. I'm going to just actually fire this up in a tab for later. I'm going to just watch 2021 Rockets highlights later tonight. Just fuck it, dude. So many legends on that roster. Let's look at the roster real quick. Mm-hmm. 20 wins. Let's go. Armani Brooks just got picked up the other day. That was cool. Oh, dude, I remember Daniel Tice. I remember Daniel Tice getting signed and hopping on the mic and being like, what the fuck? Everyone was like, oh, dude, like, let's wait and see how it works. 20 games in, Stone's like, oh, it didn't fucking work. Magic games, yep. Love a good Magic game. I mean, I'll watch any team. But covering the NBA last year, I'm kind of try and watch a little bit of everything I can. 35 wins. I just realized I never gave an answer for me. I think 35 is safe. I think 35 is the minimum. I think 45 might be maximum. But I would right now put a win total at probably 40. And that's optimistic. But keep in mind, what is the stat? Like 50% of new teams in every sport have a new playoff team. The Phoenix Suns, dude. The Phoenix Suns, the year before they made the NBA Finals, won like 20 games, bro. They won like 20 games. Wow, this is crazy, dude. We just got a dono from Marcus Moore. Appreciate you, man. Haven't got a dono in a while. So shout out to you, Marcus. Appreciate it. T-Wolves fan. Oof. Sorry, man. Sorry to hear that. Bulls. Die hard. Used to be a diehard Bulls fan when Derrick Rose was in town. D Rose got me into hoops. But yeah, dude, when the Bulls drafted Rose, you watched every Bulls game that was possible. You watch every Bulls game as a Bulls fan. So yeah, not feeling great about next year or the future. But hey, man, taking the Bucks 2 years ago to 6 was kind of cool. 2017 was cool. We had Rondo and Wade 1-2 against Boston in the first round. And Rondo got hurt. But yeah, Bulls. Appreciate it, Marcus. But yeah, before we get out of here, dude, this sunset is sexy. 35 to 45 is the range. But minimum, I want to win 35 games. And let's even look at this year. Where does 35 wins put you in the standings on both sides? Remember it would put you as a tie for 11th in the East. 41 got in. My Bulls at 40. And yeah, pretty much same thing. 40 wins. 40 win Thunder got in. But in the West, you'd be the 4th worst team in the West. Hey, improvement. The magic number's 42. Magic number's 42. Bulls' future doesn't look good, unfortunately. Unfortunately, not wrong. But hey, Bronny J and LeBron, future Bulls, along with Giannis and AD. So that's a super team. We'll be pretty good there. So, all right, that's it for today. Yeah, thanks for guys watching, listening. If you're on a streaming platform like Spotify or Apple, or if you want to follow us down below, if you want to listen on podcast form. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple, go ahead, leave a 5-star review. Helps us climb the leaderboards. We're not technically on the leaderboards yet, but it's going to be a fun run. It's going to be a fun summer, man. We're going to get niched into it. So hit that like button, hit that sub button. But thank you for taking time out of your lovely Thursday evenings for watching Houston Rockets Daily.